Okay, so I was getting ready to make an episode about plug-in hybrids, but then it occurred to me that most of the population really doesn't fully understand what a hybrid is. So I thought I'd make this episode first to fully explain and tackle the question of what is a hybrid. There are 4 types of hybrids I want to cover. Those are mild hybrids, parallel hybrids, serial hybrids, and plug-in hybrids. Before I get into the hybrids, just for clarification, I want to show how the energy flows in a typical gasoline car. In this setup, gasoline is stored on board. The gasoline is burned in an internal combustion engine, which in turn spins the wheels. This is how the vast majority of cars on the road today work. In contrast, I wanted to show how a pure electric car works. In this setup, power is stored in a very large onboard battery pack. This powers an electric motor, which in turn drives the wheels. Some examples of cars like this are the Nissan Leaf, the Tesla Roadster, the Tesla Model S, the Mitsubishi i-MiEV, the Huygo, and several others. Okay, first I wanted to talk about mild hybrids. Now, let's be honest, mild hybrids, they aren't even hybrids at all. They're essentially just a regular gasoline car where the manufacturer has replaced the starter motor and alternator with a combined system, which will also allow the engine to shut off at stops. The truth is, though, it was basically just a marketing ploy by certain manufacturers who wanted to produce a car and call it a hybrid without it really offering any benefit to the fuel economy of the vehicle or even to the emissions. Some examples of such cars are the Saturn Vue Green Line, the Saturn Ara Green Line, the Chevy Malibu, the Mercedes-Benz S400, and the BMW Active Hybrid. Parallel hybrids. In this setup, you have a traditional gasoline car with a gas tank and an engine, but it also has a small battery pack and a decently powerful electric motor generator. Both systems power the wheels when driving. The system adds efficiency because it allows the car to recapture energy when braking or going downhill and reuse that power when taking off or going uphill. If the battery is low, it can also be charged directly by the gasoline engine. This system offers a moderate improvement in fuel economy. With this setup, the electric motor is tied directly to the gasoline engine, so they always work together in parallel. Because of this, it is impossible for the car to drive even short distances on electric power without the engine spinning too. Some examples of vehicles like this are the Honda Insight, the Honda Civic Hybrid, and the Honda CR-Z. Serial hybrids. With this setup, the car is actually more similar to a pure electric in that the main driving force behind the car is an electric motor. Only instead of being driven by a large battery pack, it's driven by a smaller battery pack which is kept charged by a generator which is powered by a gasoline engine. This system allows the car to drive short distances on battery power alone, and the engine can start and stop as needed to generate electricity. This system also uses regenerative braking to recharge the battery when stopping or going downhill. Of course, it's a little more complicated than this because at faster speeds it is possible for most serial hybrids to actually switch to a parallel mode for better highway efficiency. This type of setup offers a significant improvement in fuel economy. Some examples of such cars are the Toyota Prius, the Toyota Camry Hybrid, Toyota Highlander Hybrid, the Nissan Altima Hybrid, the Ford Fusion Hybrid, and the Ford Escape Hybrid. Plug-in hybrids. A plug-in hybrid is essentially just like a serial hybrid, the only difference being that it has a larger battery pack which can be charged from a wall outlet that can store enough power to drive the car significant distances on electric power. In many cases, such a vehicle may be able to handle all of the person's daily driving on electric power. That way the driver only has to use gasoline on longer trips. Some examples of such vehicles are the Chevy Volt and the forthcoming Toyota Prius PHV. Another difference is that even though your hybrid has a gasoline engine, it doesn't sound anything like a regular car when starting. So, now that you know that hybrids are a lot different from a regular vehicle, it's good to know though that they pretty much drive just like any ordinary vehicle. The only difference that some people notice is that when you come to a stop, most hybrids will shut the engine off And that'll catch a lot of people by surprise the first time they drive one. They'll think that the engine has died, but they usually become accustomed to it just after a few weeks of driving one. Most hybrids have some sort of informational screens that tell you essentially what your hybrid is doing. Honda uses a charge assist gauge that shows whether power is flowing into or out of the hybrid system. The Prius uses a more complex screen showing all kinds of different configurations of the hybrid system. For example, this screen shows the car is slowing down, and so it's charging the battery using regenerative braking. This screen shows the gas engine is running, which is generating power for the electrical system and driving the wheels. This screen shows the car driving on battery power alone.